This news update is brought to you by
This is the Noon Barbados Today update. It's Friday, September 26, 2014. I'm Dawn Paris. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. We begin with news that critical care is placing a huge burden on the country's main health institution. Chief Executive Officer of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Dr. Dexter James, told officials attending a healthcare financing conference this morning that the QEH spends $14 million every year to keep 236 kidney patients alive. He says the care of these patients is also being challenged by a tight budget. More in this report from Emmanuel Joseph.
Speaking on the topic, if not now, then when, the imperatives of healthcare financing, Dr. James told the conference that non-communicable diseases, such as those related to hemodialysis, are a significant burden on the cost of the services offered by the QEH. He noted that in 1979, there were 3 kidney patients, but that figure had risen to 225 this year. He warned that a catastrophic situation could result if the current difficult financial state of affairs at the hospital forced a discontinuation of any of these critical services. Dr. James pointed out that the QEH required $190 million per year to sustain a minimum package of services to the country. He said that this did not take into consideration the planned replacement of capital items. Reporting from the second QEH Healthcare Financing Conference at the Lloyd Erskine Sandifer Center, Emmanuel Joseph for Barbados Today.
Thank you, Emmanuel. The Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations of Barbados gets down to business today at its biennial delegates conference with a stern warning from the private sector. Get the Barbados Workers Union back in its fold. In April last year, the BWU severed ties with CTUSAB, the umbrella organization for trade unions, claiming it was being marginalized. But the impasse is not sitting well with the Barbados Employers Federation. Executive Director Tony Walcott told the opening ceremony of the Confederation last night that businesses are uncomfortable with the BWU's absence from the umbrella organization.
There's a fracture in the labour movement. And I am making a public call at this point for that fracture to be healed as a matter of urgency. We in the private sector deal exclusively with the Barbados Workers Union, and I find it uncomfortable to be working in a social partnership mechanism with the Barbados Workers Union absent. My only call to the meeting for these next few days is work assiduously on finding a mechanism to get the social partnership and CTUSAB back together.
Meantime, Sir Trevor Hassel is blasting the high-profile presence of tobacco products in Barbados, and he's urging CTUSAB to lead the fight against it, noting that cigarette smoking is a leading contributor to non-communicable diseases, NCDs. The past president of the Heart and Stroke Foundation says the government, the private sector, and trade unions must do more to tackle the problem.
There is therefore need for a framework to be established for involvement of the private sector in the collaborative approach to tackling NCDs. So CTUSAB should not have any relationship with the tobacco industry, since that industry sells a product that, if used as advertised, leads to significant ill health and death. And further, the tobacco industry should not be involved in contributing to the determination of public health policy, and CTUSAB should make its voice heard and strongly object when the tobacco industry seeks to increase its presence in Barbados.
In other news, the General Insurance Association of Barbados is calling on police to impound vehicles when drivers cannot show proof of insurance at the scene of accidents. Chairman of the GIAB's Public Relations Committee, Anton Lovell, says the association is concerned about the number of uninsured vehicles on the roads.
Because we are finding in the industry far too many accidents are occurring with vehicles not insured or the drivers not having the appropriate licenses, and it causing some obviously situations when they go out to negotiate claims, and the insurance company then on the receiving end in terms of the complaints, when in fact we cannot do anything if a person doesn't have a license or the vehicle not insured.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Catch the sun power.
Over in Trinidad, 3 people are dead after gunmen opened fire on a police station on the outskirts of the capital, Port of Spain, last night. Police Public Relations Officer Inspector Wayne Maistar said preliminary investigations show that 5 men were in the area when a black vehicle drove up and gunshots were fired. According to police, one of the 3 deceased is a gang leader from the Laventille area and another is a Jamaican national. Further afield, the debate is on in the UK Parliament as Prime Minister David Cameron makes a case for his country to join the fight against ISIS militants. He told lawmakers that ISIS presented a direct threat to the British people, as the terrorist group had already killed 1 British hostage and threatens the lives of 2 more.
This is not a threat on the far side of the world. Left unchecked, we will face a terrorist caliphate on the shores of the Mediterranean and bordering a NATO member with a declared and proven determination to attack our country and our people. This is not the stuff of fantasy. It is happening in front of us, and we need to face up to it.
And that's where we end our noon Barbados Today update. We'll be back again at 6 this evening. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper and our email updates, and like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media, in bus terminals, or on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you for all the latest news and sports. I'm Dawn Paris. Have a safe and productive day, and join us again at 6 this evening.
This news update is brought to you by